All right. Um, hey everyone, welcome to this audio broadcast that I'm doing here on Facebook, on social media, Facebook Live. I'm typically doing a Facebook Live, but this time I decided to do a specific audio. And so what I want to do is I want to wait here a couple minutes actually before I get this thing going. I'm doing this specifically for some of my friends out in the UK. Some of my friends here in the States. So I'm going to wait just a couple of minutes as they start to tune in. So if you find value in this, I just simply ask that you share it with other people that you think it could benefit, and comment below. I want to have some fun, but I really want to get into the realness of what it really means to have just that mental toughness, have the real mindset of a champion, the real mindset to win, the real mindset that it really does take to go out there and really achieve, in my opinion, achieve anything that you truly desire. So I'm going to get this thing kicked off here, and I'm going to go into some very specific stuff. I'm not just going to throw some stuff out there that I just happen to come across. I mean, this is years and years and years of study, notes and books, and, as I was just reading today, as I was reviewing my notes, I decided that I wanted to put something together with some actual steps that you all can follow to go out there and change the game for yourself this year, 2018, as it's just barely kicked off. So, hey, what's going on, everyone? What's up, Kelly? What's up, Brianna? What's up, Tracy, Crystal, Gregory, out of Spain? What's up, brother? Hey, Nancy, how are you? Good to have you on. Thank you so much for taking the time. Crystal, you as well. Claire. So hope everyone's having a good Sunday. If you are having a good Sunday, if you're having a good day, drop a 1 below. I know that I'm having an incredible day. It's beautiful weather out here in Utah. And I'm just excited to be alive. I'm excited for another day of living, another day to see my family, another day to hang out with my kids. And so I'm just fired up to be here just in general, because I know that that's something that we sometimes take for granted. So if you're excited, if you're grateful, and if you're happy to be alive today, and if you're having a good day today, if you're having a great Sunday, drop a 1 in the comments, and we'll get this thing going. So anyways, I appreciate everyone that's hopping on. I don't know, this is just kind of out of nowhere, out of the blue, I suppose. And so I know a lot of people will be listening to a replay or whatnot. But if you are hearing this and if you find value in this, all I ask is that you share it. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty stuff and really have some fun here. And if you're plugging in from my teams out in the UK, the teams out here in the States, just make sure to tag your teams below. I want to keep this as generic as possible because I want to, since I'm doing it on my public page, I want to make sure that regardless of what network marketing company you're a part of, regardless of what profession, regardless of who you are, this is for any area of any specific career or role that you currently play in your life right now. So we're going to go ahead and kick this thing going. What's up, Stacy from the UK, Sarah from the UK, Gregory from the UK, Helen from the UK. So if you're listening to this and if you're having a happy Sunday, grateful Sunday, you're excited to be alive another day, drop a 1 in the comments as I go ahead and kick this thing off. Okay, so a lot of what I'm going to go over here is very, very specific in what you should be doing day in and day out to blow past the doors of success, to really blow past anyone or anything or anything in general that you want to just surpass in life. This is specifically what you should be doing every single day, day in and day out. Now, as I go through these things, I want you all to take a piece of paper and a pen and write down some notes because I'm gonna break down some steps here. But the main thing to understand is that everything that I'm covering should be done in a relaxed state of mind. It should be done knowing that it's already done. All this that I'm sharing with you, if you take action on it in a spirit of desperation, you're going to repel the things that you truly want. If you do this, but you do it in a state of abundance, in a state of acceptance, in a state of relaxation, knowing that it's already yours, knowing that it's already done, knowing that it's already in your life. It's just a matter of the materialization to happen, right? So it's already yours. So if you do that in that state of mind, then this is very powerful, what I'm going to cover with you all today. What's up, Nikolai? What's up, Holly? Okay, so first and foremost, you need a spiral notebook, right? And the reason why is this, because when you're going at a goal, when you want to attain goals in your life, and I'm going to talk about three different levels. If you want to track them at double speed, I'm going to show you how. If you want to track that at triple speed, I'm going to show you how to do that as well. But if you want to attract it in hyperdrive, if you want to just catapult, if you want to have that quantum leap, not just go from, level 1 to level 2, but level 1 to level 1000, if you want to have that kind of quantum leap in your life, I'm going to show you that in 3 different phases. So phase number 1 is the phase that I call triple or double speed. How to attain your goals at double speed. Well, the first thing you got to do is understand that there's a certain power in writing down a goal. There's a certain power in writing something down on a piece of paper. It just shows the universe that you are more serious than those that just think about things all day long. Those that just think about one day having success. Those that just think about one day being happy. So two of the most powerful things that you can have is a notebook and a paper, or a notebook and a pen. Okay, I believe it's more powerful when you write it down. Some of y'all may be completely, tech savvy and you just want to type it up. Hey, I'm sure that's just as fine as well. But in my opinion, I truly believe that if you have a pen, if you have a spiral notebook, and the first thing that you do is write down the goal that you want, no matter how big or no matter how impossible it seems to you, you somehow begin to activate a series of forces in the universe that begin to bring things your way. So the very first step in attaining your goals at double speed, first and foremost, is to write it down. First and foremost is to write it down. Have a piece of paper and a pen, and you want to write down your goals, okay? The second step into attaining your goals at double speed is make sure that you write it down in the present tense, okay? You don't want to say, I want to have better health. You don't want to say, hey, I want to live in a better home. You want to start already right now saying, I am already living in a nicer home. I am feeling healthy. I am feeling happy. I am feeling terrific, or I am achieving the top rank in the compensation plan in my company. I am driving my dream car. You want to state it in the present tense period. So the first thing in attaining your goals at double speed is to write it down. Second thing is write it down in the present tense. It's always going to be one of the most powerful things because your mind begins to accept it. The third thing is that you want to set a deadline. Now, this is very, very powerful for me because of my personal experience. Over the past 9 years being full-time in this industry of network marketing, I'll tell you one thing that I never did. I always wrote down my goals, but I never set dates. I just wrote them down. And they just, I guess, it happened, but it took too long, in my opinion. Well, last year, January 2017, I decided to do something different. I pulled out a calendar and I said, I'm going to write down the goals, but I'm also going to put them in this calendar on the certain dates that I want to achieve these things. And you would have, it blew me away. It would have blown you away to see my calendar as I checked off everything in the same exact dates that I had set in January 2017. I was checking things off clear all the way until 2017. So I believe that one of the most important things that you can do in attaining your goals at double speed, apart from just writing it down and apart from just putting it in the present tense, one of the third and most powerful components is to make sure that you set a specific date. Okay, so this year, because of what I accomplished last year, I decided to pull out my calendar and I set bigger, sexier goals for me that I want to achieve for this year, and I put dates to them, and it gets you excited. It begins to almost allow your mind to start to look forward to these things to happen on your calendar. It creates a sense of excitement. It creates a sense of energy around your goals. And so if you say, hey, I am driving, it can be whatever you want. I am driving my Lexus. I am driving my new Mercedes. I am driving my new BMW. Whatever it is, you want to put by November 10th of 2018 or by December 14th of 2018, or, I am taking myself on a luxury vacation to Paris by, June 14th of 2018, whatever it is. You want to make sure that you write it down in the present tense, and that you write it down with a specific date that you're going to achieve this thing. So that's number one. Now, if you're finding value in this already, drop a 2 in the comments because I want to make sure that I'm coming across clearly. If you're not hearing me that well, please let me know as well. I've never done one of these live broadcast audio things, so just drop a 2 in the comments below if you are getting value from this thing. So the first thing that I was talking about was how to attain your goals at double speed. So if you want to attain your goals at triple speed, I'm going to talk to you about how to do this now. This is the second phase. For those of you, it just depends on the size of your goals that you want. Maybe you want to achieve a better car, better home, better income, better, a better partner, whatever it is. And you're not you don't have a big motivator for it. It might be something that you might just want to go double speed at. Maybe it's not something that you're ready. Maybe you want to go out there and get a six pack, but it's not on your priority list. So it's not going at, hyper speed. You're going at double speed, right? And so now I'm going to talk about triple speed, how to attain your goals at triple speed. And this is, for me, very exciting. And this is something that I began to do early on about 6 years ago. And it really, really does work. This is how you tend to find people that go out there and really have the golden touch in life. You ever meet those people that, they just, whatever they get into, they make money. Whatever they do, they just make money. They touch something, turns to gold, right? They just happen to have that sense of assurance that things always go their way. You meet people like that. You meet people that always get lucky. One of the things that, I've always felt like is just lucky things happen to me. Things always go my way, and I always attract the right people into my life. But those are the beliefs that I put into my brain that I finally accepted as a reality. And therefore it just happens. And so if you want to work really, really hard and also have triple the speed and triple the results, then this is what you want to do. So after you've written down your goal in a positive tense, you want to write down below it 3 action steps that you can take immediately. 3 action steps that you can take immediately that'll get you closer to your goal. Let me give you an example. I am achieving the top rank of the compensation plan inside of my network marketing company. So let's say that's the first thing. You write down your goal. I am achieving the top rank of my compensation in the compensation plan of my network marketing company by November 1st of 2018. Below that, you want to write down 3 things that'll bring you closer to that goal. And you also want to do it in the present tense. For example, I take massive action every single day. I am a self-starter. I wake up early and get things done before most people wake up. Whatever it is, it can be three action steps that you could write to get you closer to your goal. And the reason why this is important is because now your mind begins to internalize the things that you have to do in order to get the goal that you desire in your life. And so what you want to do is you want to write this down. Now, keep in mind, this could be an exercise that could take you an hour a day. It could also take you 30 minutes a day. It could also take you 15 minutes a day. It truly just depends on how many goals you have. Now, my recommendation is, don't sit there and write 100 goals, because for you to write down 100 goals in the present tense every single morning is going to get kind of crazy. But if you do have 100 goals, figure out which are your top 10. And if those top 10, you could only achieve 3 of those this year, circle those 3, and those become the 3 major goals that you want in 2018. And you want to write it down in the present tense. You want to write it down with a date, and then you want to write down below each one 3 action steps in the present tense that'll get you closer to your goal. Now you begin to internalize with the action steps that you have to take in order to achieve that goal. Okay, so the next thing is this. Okay, so the next thing is this, because there's 2 different, so these are the 2 different phases. Phase number 1 is attaining your goals at double speed. Phase number 2 is attaining your goals at triple speed. Now, one of the most important things is understanding the best time for mental programming. Now, in my, opinion, now I'm not an expert in any of these things, but really, because we're always thinking things, because driving down to the store, by the time we drive from our home to a store, from a home to a job, or from our home to school, whatever it is, we have 400, 500, 600 different thought processes in a matter of like 5 minutes, right? Our brains are always working and working and working. So when is the best time for mental programming? In my opinion, it's any time possible, whenever you possibly can. However, there are 2 most important times that you can definitely do this mental programming. Number 1 is right when you wake up. Number 2 is right when you go to bed. Let me help you understand why. When you wake up in the morning and you write down your goals, so you write it down in the present tense, and you write down when that goal will be achieved, and you write down a few action steps, and you do that in the first thing in the morning, all of a sudden you're ready to go for the day. You're excited. You feel fired up. You feel prepared. You feel ahead of the game, right? And at night, what happens, now this is very, very powerful, because one of my mentors taught me this. He says, most people set a specific time to do the personal development. Usually it's 15, 20 minutes. He's like, I do personal development 8 hours a day. except I don't do it during the day. I do it at night while I sleep, because your mind is still working while you sleep. So what happens is, when you are writing down your goals at night, when you're rewriting down your goals in the present tense, for example, I'm going to go back to this. I am at the top rank of the compensation plan, my network marketing company, by November 1st. 3 action steps. I take massive action daily. I am a self-starter. I wake up early and get more done than most people do by the time they wake up. Whatever it is that your affirmations are, you write that down. Well, what happens is, when you write that down right before you go to bed, when you go to bed at night, your mind goes to work on those goals. Your mind goes to work on those affirmations and becomes a part of you. The next morning, when you wake up and you do it over again right in the morning, then all of a sudden it just begins to it begins to empower you a lot more over time. And so that's how you're going to go from double speed to triple speed. Now, keep in mind, you don't only have to do this in the morning or at night. And at night, you also want to make sure that you have a 3x5 card and you have your top 3 goals on that 3x5 card that you can read throughout the day. Doesn't mean that you have to do it all the time, but it just means that you have to look at those, pockets of time throughout your day where you can become wealthy. For example, right? You can take your phone and scroll through Facebook while you're on the toilet. Now, was that productive? Maybe 50% of it, but not the phone part, right? So if you want to be more productive, then what is it? You maybe take your 3x5 card when you're on the toilet and you read your affirmation for 15, 20 minutes or whatever time you're in there, right? Or when you're driving. Is it somehow miraculous for you to just turn off the radio and start to go over your affirmations over and over and over and over and over and over again? No, it's not. But for some people, they're just so addicted to the technology. They're just so addicted to the music that they can't turn it off and start to really create their futures inside their minds first. But this is the real magic. And so, in my opinion, these 2 phases will bring you what you want. Will bring you what you want at some point in life. Will bring you what you want, the people that you want, the resources that you want in order to go out there and get the things that you truly want in life. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into how to achieve these things, but on hyperdrive. Okay, so if you have a smaller goal, maybe you can go double speed. If you have a bigger goal, maybe you can go triple speed. But if you have a big goal and you're anxious for it, and it's something that you almost salivate for, if it's something that you stay up at night for, if it's something that you wake up early for, I'm going to teach you how to go into hyperdrive, because this is probably the most important part of this whole scenario. Unless you have this part, really, words mean nothing. Okay, so if you are finding value in this, drop a 3 below. Drop a 3 below in the comments and let me know if you're finding value in this. More importantly, if you find a lot of value in this, share it onto your Facebook pages. That would mean the world to me. If you have team members inside of different network marketing companies, I've kept this generic so far, so you're free to go ahead and tag teams in the comments if you decide to do so. So anyways, I'm going to talk about how to go into hyperdrive. How you set a goal. How you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to get into my dream house. You know what? I am going to drive the car of my dream. Now, here's the thing. It's time for you to raise your standards first and foremost. Before I get into how to go into hyperdrive, start to raise your standards, because you know what most people do? Most people say, you know what? I don't need $100,000 a month in income. It's okay if I just make $10,000 a month. Or you know what? I don't need $10,000 a month. I only need about $2,000. No. Stop settling for what you think is okay and start accepting your worth. Start realizing that, trust me, $100,000 a month is a heck of a lot funner than someone that's out there making $1,000 a month. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not cool to make $1,000 a month. It just means stretch yourself, right? If you're at a job right now and you've never done this network marketing thing, maybe your first goal is to make $1,000 a month. What I'm trying to help you understand is, don't shortcut yourself. Don't treat yourself bad because of what you think you're capable of. We all have limitless potential. So just understand that the first thing that you want to do is elevate your brain, elevate your goals, elevate your dreams, because there's absolutely nothing that none of us can accomplish. Why? Because if there's something that someone has done before and they're human, guess what? You're human as well. Maybe you can't go out there and build a universe, right? But if someone is making $1 million a month in network marketing, you can do the same. If someone's making $10,000 a month in network marketing, you can do the same. If someone hopped in a spaceship and went to the moon, guess what? You can do the same. You can do anything that anyone's ever done, right? And so don't settle anymore. Start to raise your standards. Start to raise the standards of the people that you're going to surround yourself with, the goals that you're going to allow in your life, because guess what? On your deathbed, you probably will wish that you would have dreamed bigger, that you would have achieved more things, that you would have done something different. So anyway, so now I'm going to get into how to go into hyperdrive. And for those of you that are hopping on, if you find value in this, please share this on your Facebook wall. That would mean a lot to me. You can tag your teams onto this because this has been kept completely generic. Okay, so how to go into hyperdrive. Now, this is what we call the visualization process. So now here's the thing. There's 4 parts of visualization that I'm going to get into that most people have never been taught, right? You've been taught just to, think about those things that you want. But here's the thing, okay? You want to... So let me give you an example, right? Like, is it better? Because here's the thing, like, if you have a team inside of network marketing, or let's say you just got started today, or let's say you've been in for a month, and so far 50 people have told you no, right? What happens is that begins to create a story. But what begins to really affirm that story is if you start to repeat it over again and you start to think about it more and more often, what begins to happen is now all of a sudden you begin to expect people just to tell you no. And then a time goes by and you start to think that this thing is not for you. And then you quit. You give up on your dreams. But what I'll tell you is this, isn't it just better? Isn't it just better? Even if it's not true, isn't it just better to think about how many people are telling you yes every single day to your product and to your opportunity, even if the last 50 people have told you no? Drop a 4 in the comments below if you think it's just better, even if it's not true. Do you think it's just better to think and talk about why so many people tell you yes day in and day out, even if the last 50 people have told you no, right? Because here's the thing. If people told you no, guess what? You can't change that. But if you want to continue to repeat that, then you're going to talk about those things. You're going to call your upline and you're going to say, everyone's telling me no. You're going to tell your spouse, everyone is telling me no. You're going to tell your friends, everyone's telling me no. When you wake up in the morning, now you're going to be scared because you keep thinking that people are telling you no, right? And so visualizing is so powerful. You want to begin to visualize the good things that are happening to you. If you want to reach the top rank in your compensation plan, you want to start to see already people joining your team every day. You want to start to talk to yourself differently. You want to start to tell yourself, I'm so grateful that all these people are joining my team. I'm so grateful that when I reach out to people, they see the value in my product. I'm so grateful that good things continue to happen to my business every single day because of my consistency. You want to just talk to yourself differently and help yourself start to visualize those things begin to happen. As I was watching YouTube videos a few days ago, I watched probably like 30 different videos on Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan, and both of those players said that the majority part of the game, of the basketball game, the game of basketball was all mental. The majority part of the game of basketball for them was all mental, because Michael Jordan said that at some point his physical body could only do so much, and then the brain had to take over. The visualization had to take over. He had to think about those things that would happen on the basketball court. So it's called mental rehearsals. A lot of these basketball players or whatever different sports people are in, I'm going to talk particularly about basketball. For example, Michael Jordan, he had to visualize. These guys, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, some of these greats, they visualized winning championships far before they even made it to the NBA. Most of these guys visualized those rings on their fingers before they won those championships. Most of these guys visualized themselves dunking over a 7-foot giant before they were even 5 foot tall, right? These people just had this power of visualization because the human body can only do so much. Until then, the brain, the mind, that begins to take over. So you can also use this to your advantage, but it can also be killing you in life, because if you're using this incorrectly, then the exact opposite is going to happen. If you're scared to talk to people and you know it and you keep affirming that, nothing is going to happen in your business. So this can be a gift and a curse. It's the biggest gift that we've been born with, but it can also be the biggest curse in life, because if you are not using it properly, if you're becoming shy, if you're becoming scared, if you're beginning to buy in to the story that's been happening to you over the past years, things are just going to not continue to go your way. It's the reason why people can be in an abusive relationship and all of a sudden they break up with their boyfriend or their girlfriend, and then they find someone that's just like them. They keep repeating the same cycle over and over and over and over again because they bought into this story. So there's this guy named Piero Ferrucci, and he wrote a book called The Power to Be. And he says that you can develop, now this is powerful because part of the visualization process is you acting something before it begins to happen. So I'll give you an example. In his book, he says that you can develop any quality that you desire by focusing on that quality continually and imagining that you have it already. Okay, so for example, if you're someone that wants to be disciplined, wouldn't it make sense to study discipline? Wouldn't it make sense to already act like you're disciplined? Wouldn't it make sense to say that you're disciplined? Right? And so in his book, The Power to Be, he starts to talk about how you have to study the quality that you want in your life. So for example, if you're sitting there inside a network marketing company and you just got off of a convention and you saw someone speaking on stage and that person on stage is making 7 figures a year and you're like, gosh, I want to be like that person. Write down, what do you think is a number one quality of that person? Maybe it could be discipline. Right? Maybe it could be consistency. Maybe it could be work ethic. Whatever it is, write down the quality and begin to embody it. Begin to study it. Begin to watch videos about it. You know, for me, I used to be crippled by taking action because growing up, I believed the story that I was shy. I believe people would always say, hey, you're shy, you're shy, you're shy. I began to buy that story. Surprisingly, I ended up in network marketing, and that caused me to suffer the first 2 years. And so I had to study work ethic. I had to study taking massive action. You have to go on YouTube and put massive action. Watch some videos about it. You have to go to YouTube and put work ethic. Watch some YouTube videos about it. Study people that take massive action. Study people that you know are like workhorses in life and study them and start to see yourself as being someone that has a crazy work ethic, someone that works and works and works and just gets things done. Begin to embody that. Begin to really feel like you are part of that quality, right? So Piero Ferrucci in his book, that's what he talks about, is begin to study that quality. Now, Benjamin Franklin and George Washington did the same thing. They both practiced this, thinking of a characteristic that they wanted to develop. And what they did is they began to act that quality. Now, the whole key to this is the same thing as I was talking about goals earlier, which is you can't write down so many where you can't focus on one. You want to write down a few little, character traits, a few different personality types that you almost want to embody, a few simple things that you really want to be a characteristic or a quality. Write down a few of them. Now, if you don't know where to find some, go to Think and Grow Rich and put the 17 principles. Go to Google today and put 17 principles of Think and Grow Rich, and the 17 principles will be printed out. Discipline, accurate thinking, definite chief aim, burning desire, all those 17 different characteristics pop up. Pick three and just get obsessed with them. Pick 3 and start to study them. Pick 3 and start to watch videos about them and start to embody them every single day, every single week for the next 90 days and watch what begins to happen to your life. Okay, so, by the way, also Aristotle said the same thing. He said the best way to develop a virtue is to imagine and to behave in every respect as though you already possess it. Okay, so what are we seeing? What's the trend here? What are all these greats saying? They're all saying that it all begins with you first. The product, the company, the compensation plan, that has very little to do with anything. Of course, there's some opportunities that may be more lucrative than others, but that doesn't mean that you can't get rich. And you can get rich in anything that you want in life, as long as you have the mind set up first. As long as that comes first, everything else will come naturally. Okay, so now the next thing I wrote down was this, is that all this that I talked about today has to become a magnificent obsession. One of the things that W. Clement Stone wrote in his book, what was it called? Success or a Positive Mental Attitude. He says that you have to find something that you can become obsessed with, something that becomes a magnificent obsession. Not something that's negative, of course, but a magnificent obsession. Wouldn't it be magnificent if you became obsessed with becoming the best? If you became obsessed with having excellence as a part of your life in every area of your your life. And so having a magnificent obsession, when you decide to write down these goals, become obsessed in not only achieving them, but internalizing them, writing them down, reviewing them every single morning, every single night, watching videos about these disciplines that'll help you get there, watching videos about these character traits, these character types that'll help you get there to your goal a lot faster. It has to become a magnificent obsession. And over time, okay, over time, now it doesn't happen overnight, but over time, because you have to understand it's been 18, 20, 30, 40 years of one specific mental programming. You can't go out and do these steps and think that next week you break the top rank of your compensation plan. But over time, you begin to change your story. Okay, your goal begins to take complete control of your visualization process. Instead of waking up scared, you wake up inspired. Instead of being fearful of reaching out to people, you look forward to hearing the no's. You look forward to hearing the yeses. You look forward to just talking to people with pure confidence and conviction, right? And so there are 4 parts of visualization. I'm going to give you step 1. Step 1 of the visualization process is frequency. Okay, so frequency. This means that this is more in terms of like the number of times that you're going to visualize, right? Now, again, the more, the better. Right? It's like going to the gym. What'll get you better results? Going once a week or maybe going 4 or 5 times per week. And so the frequency, number 1 in the 4 parts of visualization is important. Now with the visualization is not like the human body, because here's the cool thing, right? Like you can't go to the gym like 10 times a day without burning out after like day 3. But you can visualize like thousands of times per day, and your brain will never get sore. It'll just get better. It'll get smarter. It'll get sharper, right? And so in terms of frequency, my advice to you is do it as often as possible. Never miss a morning, never miss a night. And then throughout the day, do it as much as possible. Find moments throughout your day that you can constantly reprogram your mind. Now, a lot of this can be used subconsciously. Like if you have a vision board, well, it better be on your wall while you're working. So the only thing that you're seeing, apart from the people that you're talking to, is you're seeing these images. So the more frequent, the better. The more consistent, the better. So number 1 is frequency. Number 2 is how long, okay? How long should you visualize? What's the duration that you should visualize? Well, it's got to be enough to it's got to be enough to the point where you emotionalize with what you want, right? And what do I mean by that? Well, if you want to drive your dream car and you close your eyes for 2 seconds and you just see the car and you're done, you haven't had enough time to emotionalize with it. In my humble opinion, it should be 10 to 15 minutes. It could also be 5. So you got to see yourself in that car. You got to feel like, what is that vibe? How, like, you got to get your adrenaline pumping as if you were in the car already. You got to see that. And so how long should you visualize for? As long as it takes for you to emotionalize with that. The third thing is how clearly, okay? How clearly. Now, this has to be, this has to do with, like, vividness, okay? Now, here's the thing. Like, at first, when you start to visualize, it might be a little bit fuzzy. You might not have all the clear details there. But what do you think begins to happen as you write and rewrite your goals every morning and every night? And what begins to happen as you're visualizing them throughout the day? What begins to happen as these things become a magnificent obsession? Over time, over the next 6 days, 7 days, 10 days, all of a sudden you start to get clearer and clearer on your goal. Now, one of the things that I did that helped me a lot is I used to go to Google, well, not used to, I still do to this day, go to Google Images. I used to go to Google Images and type down my goals and dreams. Didn't matter what it was. It could be the dream car, it could be the dream house, it could be you speaking on stage. It doesn't have to be you, but you could see a crowd full of people, someone speaking on stage, and you pretend that it's you, or you put a picture of you there, right? And so you can go to Google Images and start to see all these images and download them onto your phone and create a dream album, and those things will play a part in your visualization process. And over time, as you start to see those things, you begin to become more clear and clear on what's happening, what you're wearing, what you're listening to, what you're feeling, what you're thinking, what you're smelling, right? All those things to begin to play a part of your visualization process. Number 4 is the intensity. The intensity is literally probably one of the most important parts of this whole thing, because this has to do with emotionalizing with it, right? So it's like, For me, like when I first got started in this industry, if someone told me no, I emotionalized with it because I took it personal in the beginning, in my first 2 years. Fast forward now, like 9 years later, like I don't even notice it anymore. Like I really couldn't tell you the last time someone told me no, not because they don't tell me no, but just because I don't notice it anymore. Like it's just, I guess it's just something that I ignore now, right? And so, the crazy part about this is that as you begin to emotionalize with something that you truly, truly, truly want, it begins to happen faster. Things start to move forward faster. You start to see things begin to happen in your business. And sometimes it's not through you, but it's through someone in your organization. Okay, now I want to say this is a quote that Brian Tracy said, and Brian Tracy for me is just one of the best. Like he's one of the guys that I study the most. Him, Napoleon Hill, and W. Clement Stone and Earl Nightingale. Those four are just beyond just incredible. So Brian Tracy said, sometimes if your emotion is intense enough and your visual image is clear enough, your goal will immediately come true. Okay, so I'm going to say that one more time. This is what Brian Tracy said in his book called Goals. He said, sometimes if your emotion is intense enough and your visual image is clear enough, your goal will immediately come true. Okay, now that's crazy to think about, but logically it does make sense. Okay, and for me, it's just one of those things that has really, really worked in my life on certain things. There's certain things that I remember being 24 years old and I met some guy or some lady that told me no to my opportunity, but she referred me to someone, and that someone ended up building me a team of like 6,000 people in Korea, right? Like it was like almost zero work, but the visualization process is what caused it to come to fruition, right? And so one of the things that I love about Les Brown as I listen to some of his audios throughout the day is that you have to do this stuff enough to the point where you begin to walk by faith and not by sight. Because a lot of the times we set a goal down and we start to say, you know what, I don't think I could accomplish it. Right? We start to judge what we could accomplish based on what we've done so far. You have to start to learn to walk by faith and not by sight. Stop walking this world by judging yourself according to just what's around you, because you don't know. You could start to visualize something so intensely. You could be so focused and intentional about where you're going, and you make it a priority. You make it a magnificent obsession in your life, where all of a sudden it becomes a reality, and you start to scratch your head thinking how that could ever happen. And so, by the way, if you're getting value from this, drop a 5 in the comments below. I want to know, and a lot of y'all might watch this replay later on or tomorrow, whenever, but just drop a 5 in the comments below if you're getting value from this, right? And you begin to think about some of the differences, right? You begin to think about like, okay, if there are people in your company making money and you're not, then it has nothing to do with the company, right? Like that's just the bottom line. And that's probably one of the hardest things to accept, but you have to take responsibility. It'll be one of the most liberating things that you can possibly do, is take responsibility and saying, hey, you know what? I am not where I want to be, and that's my fault. But now I'm going to do something different, and when I have success, that'll also be my fault. Okay, and so what I challenge you guys to do is to start doing things that are different, right? The reason why it's so easy to watch TV at night, the reason why it's so easy to eat junk food at night is because throughout the day, as we have a poor self-image, as we have poor visualizations, as we start to talk to ourselves negatively, when the evening comes at night, we say, you know what, like we start to do low esteem activities. What are low esteem activities? We start to just watch TV. Why? Because it allows us to escape from the real world. We don't think good about ourselves if we go out and we eat junk food. We start to listen to junk music. So if you want something different, start to listen to something different. Start to do different things. Start to change that vibration, right? Like the TV is going to put you at a certain vibration. Junk food is going to put you at a certain vibration. So I challenge you, 2018 just has to be your year. I've said this before in previous messages. I know it, or in previous videos, previous conference calls. I know it's my year because I've devoted this year to not missing one day. Like this year for me is a year of just pure discipline, drinking water, eating healthy, listening to positivity, surrounding myself by influencers, only allowing myself to talk good about myself. And if you do the same, all of a sudden, everything begins to change for you. And it won't change in December. It'll start to change tomorrow. Things begin to happen differently for you, but it is your responsibility. So, anyways, with that, I hope y'all have an incredible Sunday. Hope y'all have an incredible rest of this January, and I hope you have an incredible 2018. I know it's your time. I know it's my time, and we will win together. So with that, everyone, have an incredible day.